Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to another episode of Compass Games Live. It's episode 78. It's Thursday, July 21st. I hope the week's treating you right. I'm sorry to see that I see Vince here as getting over the flu. So, Vince, I'm very sorry to hear you're not feeling well. I hope the blue hexagon will be a soothing thought for you to help you feel a little bit more relaxed, get a little bit better, keep the temperature down. So, wishing you all the best to get better. Also saw the comment about bluegrass. Get some bluegrass going. My wife's a huge bluegrass fan with some relatives from Kentucky, so that would be an easy ask for sure. So it's great to have everybody here. As always, to start things off, we're going to bring in Brittany, who's going to help us go through schedule updates. We do have some poll questions, by the way, which just to give fair notice now, because I want to make sure you have time to get into our poll because it's so important to us. So let me just show you really quickly how to do that. So here you can see, so there's two options, obviously. The one on the left is if you've got some way with a laptop or something near you, just go to slido.com. And when you log in or when you go there, you'll see at the very top, they just ask for a meeting number and you just put in that 7-digit code and you're all set. The other option, or I guess the more chic, cool way to do it is if you got your camera ready, just take your camera phone to the QR code, click on it. It will navigate you, obviously, then to right into the meeting. So you don't have to do a number or anything. It's encoded in the QR code. So I just want to give you guys a moment to get ready because Brittany, you guys were great. Last time we did Compass Games Live, we asked some great questions and the feedback was really good, really good. So I want to make sure we give Brittany a good chance to get some good feedback from you. So fair warning, again, slido.com, and you see the code there or use the QR code. And we'll let you in. So looking forward to having you join our poll tonight. In the meantime, let's please welcome in Brittany. Brittany, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. How's your week been? We got to catch up on Kickstarters and all kinds of stuff. So I'll sort of let you start things off as far as what you've been focused on this week.
This week has been mostly focused on the Brothers at War Kickstarter.
Brothers at War Kickstarter. So how's that going? Can you give us an update on that?
It's going pretty well. I think we were at 88 backers last I checked. We just posted a really great interview with Christopher Muller. I was very pleasantly surprised by his responses. He really went in depth with it, and I know he's busy getting ready for World Wargaming Championships next weekend.
All right, WBC,
same
huh?
Yep. Yeah. So I know he said he might not have time for it, and he came through. It's practically an essay. It's fantastic.
Great. And then I know we have here the video, which is Julian does the unboxing for us. Can you give a sort of a high level pitch for what Brothers at War is all about, what's included in the box?
Yep, so Brothers at War is actually 4 games in one. They're all really quick playing. If you learn one system, you can play all 4, which is really the thing that I find appealing. It is card driven, but the designer said it's pretty easy to play solitaire. They just leave the cards out pretty much, which seems like an easy fix. And I'm surprised I haven't tried that in any other card-driven games before.
Yeah, just leave the cards out because you don't have a 2-player limited intelligence situation going on. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and because the hexes are so large, they're like 1.5 inch, I think. And there's only a 2 counter stacking limit, so you can always see the counters side by side in the hexes. There's no hidden information other than that.
Okay,
so
perfect.
It does seem like an easy fix to just play it solo.
Okay, and then I see here there's 4 different games. And I didn't know this. So I'm learning this in real time. This is pretty cool. I didn't realize there's multiple scenarios within each of the 4 games. So here we got 4 scenarios, 3, 3, and 3. So that's a lot. I didn't realize there were multiple scenarios in each game.
It is. Yeah, and each game has its own full-size map. So there's a lot of gameplay in this box.
That's awesome. That is great. And then I want to point out for people the updates. So in the Kickstarter page itself, in the header area here, click on updates. We have 2 updates, and this is the most recent one is on top, the designer interview with Christopher Muller. So you just want to click read more to get more information about the background to the game. So yeah, it looks great. And that was just posted, I think, just a few hours ago, right?
Yep, just today. And then we have one more coming up before the campaign ends that's about the art development, because Brothers at War was both designed and illustrated by Christopher.
Oh, wonderful. So he's a one-man show, as they say. Mm-hmm. And then the first update here, which you gave a few days ago, was an overview of the bundle offers, being able to bundle games and save on shipping. And looks like you covered each of these available add-ons with information about each game as I scroll here. So that is a lot of information. It is our Kickstarters are so much better now. Now that you're involved, we got so much better information here. And then I'd be remiss not to mention, because I always like to mention this, is that we do have the rules available for for viewing and for download. So again, it's always near the bottom. If you scroll all the way down, and again, I love all the graphics of all the components in the game. I want to do that in rule booklets for now on. I think it's just awesome. Sequence of play summary. So we just have to go through until we get to the bottom of the page, and we're getting close. Here's the rule booklet right here. So again, just click on the rule booklet link on the Kickstarter page, and gives you a really good idea behind the game system. We don't include the scenario book necessarily, but at least you've got the rule booklet to really get a better understanding of the game. So it looks great. So that is keeping you busy. You just did another update today, so that is wonderful. And I did want to go really quickly through an update in the schedule, and then I want to get to your poll questions. So we've had some movement since we last spoke, and that is we've had two releases. We've had both Test of Faith has been released now for some time, and most recently, in the last few days, I've noticed people have received Death in the Trenches. So I think on the Compass Enthusiast page, people have been posting a few pictures of playing the game or getting it set up. And I know our Ben Madison is going to start answering questions. For anybody who has any rules questions, he's going to be available. So I'm really excited to see these games are out now. And there's Brothers at War. So look at the timing. Kickstarter is going to be ending soon. And guess what's the next release? Brothers at War. That's like the new generation. You can't wait for stuff anymore. That's how we do our Kickstarters. When the Kickstarter's there, you know the game's coming soon. And then just a reminder for everybody, as far as, and I know Brittany and I covered this last time, so the schedule hasn't really changed as far as what's next on the release schedule. So I'm not going to go through line item by line item here, obviously. But Brittany said, last episode was very true. Just a lot of different genres and types of games are in the pipeline right now on the left column, as you see me scrolling through here. Both purely solitaire-driven games, as well as magazine, Paper Wars magazine, Maori, 1812. So all these different eras: World War II, solitaire, World War II, Philippine Sea, 80s with the Balkan Front. So lots of different theaters, lots of different eras are covered on our list. And as a reminder, we usually get 2 games out per month. Is pretty standard. We might sneak in a Paper Wars, or we might have some reprints coming. And I believe in our town hall for next Thursday night, for our next town hall session, I believe Bill Thomas will have an update on some restock items, that we might have some new restock items available again. But that's something we're going to cover in the town hall. But anything you want to particularly highlight about the release schedule?
The other thing I was focusing on this week was getting the questions ready for the No Peace Without Honor interview. And I had no idea that it's going to be the 3rd game that you can actually link together 3 games in a row from a total of 4 different designers, because one of them has 2 designers. I am just so impressed with how these people can independently work within the same system to create a cohesive experience across, I think it's 48 years of.
Now, I don't know if anybody could literally at Compass Games Expo, I don't know if they could complete all 3 games linked together or not in 4.5 days. Maybe they could.
I don't know. Get some Red Bull.
Red Bull, there you go. Okay, yeah, we're going to sponsor a Red Bull competition to play all 3 games, because you're right. Yeah, they do link with the other 2 titles. So, yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? But it is true. You're right. You can go crazy with a big table. You can link all games, absolutely. So that's a good point. So just so everybody's aware, check out the Kickstarter, because Brothers at War is going to be shipping next. And then when we meet with Bill next Thursday, we'll probably have some restock news of items not appearing here on this list, but other items as well. So great. So I was thinking maybe we might did you want to go into some questions you have? And just to give everybody fair warning, for your questions to be answered, since they're poll questions, we do need everybody online in the audience to go to slido.com with that meeting number, or use the QR code. That will get you in, and then I'll start the poll questions so you can respond to them. So hopefully I've given Brittany enough fair warning for everybody that they can do that now quickly if they haven't already. And if you want, we can get started with the first question if you want. So let me, is that okay? I'll go ahead and get that started. So here's the first, and I'll let you take it from here. You take the question, explain it, and we'll see the responses as they come in. So here you go.
Okay, so are you more likely to buy additional games from the same designer, regardless of what era they're set in, or are you more likely to buy more games in the era you really like, regardless of who the designer is? And I feel like Yeah, I was thinking this is going to be about equal split. I'm thinking about add-ons for the Kickstarters. Are you more likely to collect from the same designer because you like how they write their rules, or do you want to just do the same era with a bunch of different designers to explore it from different points of view?
Excellent. So let's see. So we've got, I'm sorry, it's not all fitting on screen. I wish it was. I tried to reduce it. So I'm going to have to scroll a little bit here because there is
I have long
no
questions.
preference option. So there's 3 options because I'm trying to be fair. People might say, I can't pick one. It's impossible.
Fair.
So looks like right now in the lead is games by the same designer. People latch onto the designer, but to be honest, the difference is
so close.
Not that much, maybe 10% difference, because games of the same era, regardless of designer, is just nipping at its heels, and no preference. People being, Switzerland of the world, since I'm a dual Swiss American citizen, so I get the whole Swiss thing of being neutral. So we have 12 people being neutral so far, and it's great. We've got over 45 responses. So thanks to everybody. And again, on the left side, on the left panel there's still time to get on Slido or do the QR code thing to get in here. So, looks like we tied it. Well, I guess that helped you a lot. That really helped you a lot,
so
didn't
helpful, guys. I am split the same way. I will play anything by Gregory Smith or Adam Starkweather, but I really like anything that's just World War I. I will play by any designer. You'll get me into it.
So I guess it depends. So I guess in the end, what they're saying is it really sort of depends. It depends on the designer, or it depends on if I really like World War II Eastern Front, I'm just going to go all in. Like Battle of the Bulge, I got 10, 12, 15 Bulge games. So, and then the designer, if I find a designer I like, John Butterfield, Gregory Smith, like you said, whoever, it just, you're gonna do that song and dance, and probably no preference is the same idea. They're sort of, I don't know, because it just depends what I like. So now I don't know if that poll helps you a lot. I mean, this sort of just reinforces your own opinion, which I don't know if that helps or not.
I think it reinforces that for add-ons, we need to have other games by the same designer and other games from the era.
Oh, that's why you're paid more than me. You're actually using your brain. I get it. Okay, that's a really good analysis. That's a good way to take this feedback and work with it. So excellent. Okay, well, everybody, we had almost 50. Wow, that's excellent. Again, nearly 50 people were responding out of 150 online. So that's really good. That's a really good participation rate. So I'm going to close this poll. And did you want to talk about this one anymore? Or would you like me to move on to the next poll?
We can move on to the next one.
Okay, so let's go on to the next poll question. So let me go back here. This is actually the second and last poll question. Then Brittany's going to have a general question, I believe. That's not part of a poll. So this will be your last chance, everybody. So here we go. Brittany, take it away.
Okay, so I know that we just covered that a lot of you will try any game by a designer you like, but what else would make you try a game from an era outside of your favorites? So if you are a hardcore World War II gamer, what would make you try an Ancients title? What would make you try a futuristic title? Is it the mechanics? Is it
interesting question.
Really good solo play? Really good
playthrough video.
Yeah.
Playthrough video. So somebody basically being bought and sold on the idea by watching it on YouTube through a content contributor, it looks like.
If it's a short game, I can see that. Or maybe
solitaire, anything solitaire simplicity, good graphics, has to look good.
Good graphics, yeah. Absolutely.
Solitaire, solo mode, mechanics, I see a theme. Solo mode, mechanics, and YouTube. And reviews, same thing. And the designer, and again, the detail that fits them. So this is really interesting.
When you guys are bringing up playthroughs, are you thinking the whole game, which is what a normal board game playthrough would be, or are you thinking like a scenario from said board game, or maybe even just like a couple of rounds? Because a full one could go up to 50 hours depending on what game we're playing.
Yeah, and then I've also seen like YouTube contributors, like the most recent one. There's several people. Like I've seen a series on combat. I've seen a series on enemy action Kharkov. I've seen Kev Sharp do a series where it's just like part of a turn. It's like they do a live cast, and they get through maybe a half a turn or a turn, and then maybe they get to the next turn 2 or 3 days later, and then that one goes on YouTube because it's so big they don't stitch it all. If you stitch it all together, it's probably I don't know what the longest movie in history is. Lawrence of Arabia. I saw that with my wife. That was like 5-6 hours, but yeah, that's an interesting point because certain games. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. So.
I liked how somebody pointed out 4+ players. You have a lot more wargaming friends than I do.
I mean, I don't know if that's on. Is that in person, Anonymous?
Yeah,
Is that in
I'm
person, or
impressed.
is that on? Is that using a, Vassal?
It's very facile.
Playthrough video of a few turns, recommended by a friend. That to me would be. Boy, there's a lot of responses. So how do you know there's good scenarios though? That's interesting to me. I guess that's part of a review, maybe, or maybe it's a monster game that has a lot of one map scenarios. So that's an interesting comment. Definitely designer solitaire suitability has come through a lot. The artwork has come through a lot.
I think
Wow, we
one of
have
the points
49
about
responses. We just matched
good,
the number of responses we had in the last question.
awesome. I think one of the points about good scenarios is making sure that they feel different from each other. Because I've played a few war games where all the scenarios pretty much feel the same. You're just setting up a little bit differently. The great designers make each one feel exactly like that specific battle and really put you in the immersion there.
And here's maybe a comment for you, Brittany. Needs to be a few turns to play through that demonstrate all of the key mechanics, even if it's just set up for demonstration purposes.
Got it?
Solo mode playthrough, not a monster game. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, boy, we have, and the good news is we can save this. We can export all these responses, so we can see them all. So because we've got a lot of good feedback here. So solo play came up again, thanks to the 51 people who have responded. So I think we've got a good. So interesting about the play sessions. I think that was good to see that. Word of mouth, scenarios. Yeah, topic designer, mechanics, solo play is very important. I'd just like to know the person who has 4 people he can play with. I think that's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. Quad offerings, quad games. Well, that person better sign up for Brothers at War. That's all I got to say on that one. See, Gimpy Gamer Nate says, good game mechanics, good engine makes the game worth playing. And Gimpy does segments as well. He breaks them up when he does like playthroughs. And I know his wife helps him out too with some reviews. All right. How's that? That's pretty darn.
That's fantastic. Thanks,
That's
guys.
solid. That's pretty solid, everybody. And I got one more person typing. And to be courteous, I'm going to wait to let this typing come through because I know somebody's putting in effort here. So teaching session on YouTube. So that's maybe like the Learn to Play series that Maurice Fitzgerald does for us. A new system with good graphics. That's interesting. Like how many new systems can we come out with? That's versus a series, because I'm a real fan of series games because once I invest, it makes it easier for me to get into new titles. But a new system would compel somebody to try something new. All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to close the poll out. I think that was wonderful. So thank you so much for those great questions. But Brittany, I want to turn it back to you because I think you said there might be something else you'd like everybody's help on or feedback on.
Yes. Okay, so I think most of you, if you're watching this live stream, you're probably part of the Compass Games Enthusiasts Facebook group. So I was talking to Mark earlier today, and we were thinking about doing a cover photo contest. So if you have pictures of games that you've recently played, like sort through them, pick your favorite, and we're going to have a post up tomorrow where you can submit them, and then we'll swap them in, and you can be the spotlight of the group.
Oh, that's
Not
great.
really a question, more of a topic.
And how do they submit again? I missed that part. You were talking about how they can submit it.
We're going to put a post up tomorrow, and then they can submit it in the comments.
Okay, great. Okay, and let me hold you here because unfortunately I was not following the comments. I'm on my second monitor right now, trying to follow.
I was thinking it was quiet.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments here. So hold on. Let me see what I can find here. So I'm going through the welcomes. Some people are commenting here, same era. So they're answering some questions like Butterfield for designer, Herman Lutman. Great designer, does a lot of Civil War stuff for sure. So yeah, my mom is Swiss, so that's how. And it's not possible these days. It was back in the 80s. I was able to get my Swiss passport when I was 17 years old. Mark Simonich, yeah, he's done so many great series games. Yeah, Mo says, yeah, they'll do anything on Stalingrad by any designer, I think he's saying. Let's see here what else we have. So it looks like we're echoing a lot of the comments that we saw. Nuke after nuke from Taibamas, always unique. That might be the comment of the night right there. Sorry about the direct link to the poll. Actually, just a QR code takes you into the interface where the poll will come up on its own. I actually have to push out the poll to you for you to find it, but it's there once you land there. Hopefully next time it will work out. Playthrough session. So what I'm seeing here is a lot of the questions being answered here as well. a strategic level. YouTube to get past the learning curve. Just to see the mechanics, so you can see a boot camp, getting a boot camp concept done. Playthrough again, some comments here on playthrough. So I'll save all these comments because these are really good. Let's see what else we have. Gimpy Nate Rogers did a scenario on combat. I've seen several people do combat scenarios. Due to mobility issues, I like games I can play solo no matter what period. So that's, you know what I'd say? We always look at solo mode for every game we put out. That's why Brittany, I think she actually led with the comment about solo play without me even asking about it. So we're very sensitive about solo. We understand you solo play is extremely important to you. Absolutely.
Yeah, the only face-to-face gaming I get is at Compass Games Expo. So
really, only at the there's no other weekend events anywhere going on during the year.
Not for wargaming. I do some board games, but this is my only wargaming. I have a Vassal League for Here I Stand. I play once a month, but other than that, like I am solo all the time.
You know what? I'd like to do that as a poll question next time to find out how many people can do face-to-face play. Like I'm here in North Dallas area, Fort Worth, and we have a pretty strong game club where people can definitely get together as much as twice a month even. So I guess that's where you're from. And thanks for being up at 2:20 a.m. again. So Magnus is up again at 2:24 a.m. right now for him. Magnus, thank you so much for doing that. I hope Vince is again. Vince, I hope you're feeling better already. I hope the flu is starting to go down just a little bit. Let's see here. What about doing a town hall episode at Compass? Okay, this is for you, Brittany, because you're our brainchild here. So a town hall episode during Compass Games Expo in November would be a great way to get more interest in attending and reviewing new games. So I think that's for somebody that can't make it there, is my guess, maybe to do a draw. So we have to figure out how to broadcast and record.
Yeah, I think at least a live stream. I don't know if we could gather everyone. Everyone's so busy during Expo. I always see everyone in different corners of the room and wandering and playing games.
And then not everybody, of course. I get this 100%. Everybody does Facebook. I get it.
That's fair.
No
we have Discord.
Discord, same thing with Discord. Yeah, Discord's another one as well. So yes, we could have a separate group of non-Facebook users. We could have a separate community set up somewhere else just for that. See, we can do it. There you go. Which is totally fine. Totally fine. We're trying to reach everybody here, which is why we do the Kickstarters, by the way. It helps us reach a wider audience. So I think I've caught up through all the questions. So, yep, I think I'm caught up now, Brittany. So, yeah, anything else you wanted to cover tonight? I think you got some pretty good feedback from everybody.
I did. Yeah.
I think they took good care. I think they took really good care of you. I think almost 50 responses to each one, basically. Yeah, so I'll export out the responses and get them to you and let you do your potion thing and see what comes out of it.
Sounds great. I will see you all right, over the comments.
Yeah, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Thanks, Brittany. All right. Well, thank you so much to Brittany for her help on that. Really appreciate you guys giving us feedback. Great response, by the way. That's an extremely high response rate, especially because you had to go to that other site to be able to do that. So thank you so much for doing that. Really appreciate it. Let's move on. So we have several other things we're going to be doing for tonight's session. What I'd like to do now is we have our special guest for this evening. I want to introduce to you Ray Fiore, and we're going to be talking about a new design that Ray is currently working on. So without further ado, Ray, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, John. Thanks for having me on.
Great to have you on. I appreciate you joining us here. So what I want to do here is let me start. I'm going to go ahead and get the cover ready just to help, and this is a mock-up cover you did. All the artwork is from you, which is great because we need nice materials to go to the artist when we're ready to get there. But we're going to be
just me playing in Photoshop.
That's right. So we're going to be talking about this one right here. Combat Pilot Series Cactus Air Force. Can you give us a good elevator pitch, 20,000 foot level, what this is all about, and maybe a little bit about yourself, your personal background as well would be awesome.
Okay, well, about the game, this is right after the invasion of Guadalcanal, when the Americans were trying to defend the airfield. The Japanese were sending almost daily raids down at them. Yeah, you might know me as Six Actual from the chat.
That's
and
right.
from YouTube.
Right. There you
but
go.
The game you're going to be playing is it's a two-player with a very high solitaire suitability. You can play as a Japanese player or as the American player.
Okay.
Trying to make contact by the Japanese raid coming down towards Henderson Field. And then once you do, you would move to the tactical map and do some turning and burning and dogfighting.
Well, that's
And
an
then-
important thing you've mentioned, because when I was talking to you earlier, I thought it was a purely solitaire-driven design. And let me back up a little bit. Is this your first design, and how did you get into gaming? Just a little bit background, how you were introduced to the hobby, if you
Sure.
wouldn't
First
mind?
game design. I have written 4 novels, so it's a little different. Got into gaming back in high school when a friend brought over, I think it was Panzer Leader, might have been Luftwaffe.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah,
after that, I was hooked
awesome.
until video games came out.
Oh,
then,
you were one of those. We lost you for a while.
He lost me for several years, and now I'm back in the fold.
Well, tell us more about your book writing. That's really interesting. Tell us about your authoring. I want to hear more about that. Was that also part of your education in college? Did you go to college for writing, or English major, or how did
No,
that
it
all
was
come
a-
together for writing?
History major in college, and just felt like writing some books. So I wrote a historical World War II novel, which covered the first 6 months of the Pacific War.
Oh, wow.
This game covers the next part of that. And then a 3-volume series, science fiction.
Science fiction. Wow, that's really well. You're a very versatile writer. It sounds. Now, are you going to continue writing books? You've done 4 already, so I'm guessing yes. Or-
No, done with books. On to games.
Really, you're just going to completely. Well, you might come back to it, maybe.
Maybe changing gears,
Okay, so
though.
let's talk more about the game. So let's now we've done that. This is your first design, I believe you were saying.
Yes, first design.
So what drove you to decide to pick this topic for your first game design? What drew you to this topic?
Actually, it was either one of your Compass Games Live episodes or a town hall when everyone in the chat was throwing ideas at Greg Smith, who was in there. Do this ace, do that ace. And I think I threw in Cactus Air Force ace. And I thought he replied, hey, that's a good one. And I said, well, I could do that.
That is awesome.
So using his games as a guide is how I started with the making it a solitaire game. And then it just grew into a 2-player game with solitaire playability. The only hidden element is the Japanese mission card, which he keeps hidden until contact's made, but you can just keep that turned over until you do make contact and then find out, oh, this is what the raid contains.
Very cool. Gimpy Gamer says he likes the sound of the game already. We've just started. We're just touching the surface of it. So glad to see he's already intrigued by your topic and approach here. We'll get more into
Semper
the
Fi,
design
Gimpy.
a little bit for sure. And I think you've talked offline with Greg a little bit. I think just sharing with him your thoughts about your game and the approach you were taking with it. Gregory Smith.
Yeah, he's great. Just the volume of information. I took as many notes as I could during the phone call, tried to incorporate everything in here, but I'll definitely give him another call and let him know that I'm ready to move to the next step with this.
All right. Well, people are giving you the thumbs up for the topic you're chasing after for your first design, and I hope this motivates others. We love working with first-time designers. You know, just the passion and the topic. Not to say that anything against designers that have been out there already, but it's always great to support first-time designers. So let's do this. Let's start strolling through your design at this again. I'm gonna get some negative comments now. I'm gonna get some, thumbs down here because I have to let everybody know it's too early to even think about a pre-order page yet for this game. So this is just a sneak behind the curtain of Oz of what Ray Fiore's doing for his first design, but it's not ready for prime time yet. So everybody's going boo-hoo and finish up already, right? So that's the bad news, but the good news is we've got some eye candy here. Can you walk people through? Again, these are just mock-up. Obviously, these are Ray's own work, and of course, an artist will help Ray with it. But these are great mock-ups, Ray. You did a great job with these. But why don't you start explaining to us? Get us a little bit more into your design, if you would.
Sure. This is the operations map where the Japanese raids will be coming in from the top left, heading down to the targets around Henderson Field. As the raid's moving down, the interceptors will take off from Henderson to try and intercept them. If you flip over to the next image, it's just
I'll be happy to flip over to the next one. Yeah, there you go.
just a simple graphic showing how the Japanese are coming down, moving in steps. Bombers will have a certain movement allowance, fighters another one. When they get to the same hex, then you'll check for contact. Maybe you do contact them, maybe you don't. All depends. And also there'll be random events all along the way too.
Random events along the way. We like
Oh,
that.
plenty of random events. Some will be good, some will be bad, some will just be atmosphere.
Yep.
Maybe you'll have a UFO sighting, who knows?
Historical flavor. So I am expecting to see some people live in the audience bring up some historical tidbit that's buried in the footnotes of page 278 of some volume of some book on the Pacific Campaign to say, is this covered in your game, Ray? Well, the good news is you can say yes to everything because there's time to change and add events and things. So
sure,
no
we can add them
problem
in.
at all. So you've already piqued Tom's interest in random events. Okay, so they're saying interesting. So let's keep the storyline going here. So we've started here. Let's go to the next example. What do we have here?
Okay, after contact's made, the operations map has about 5-mile hexes. So you make contact, you go to the tactical map with 150-yard hexes. So the Japanese will set up on one side, which would be the left here. The Americans on the right side. It'll be a random roll. And then the idea is the Japanese have to get their bombers off the right map edge, while the Americans are trying to intercept them, also dealing with zeros. So once the bombers do get off the right map edge, if they survive, then it would go back to the operations map and keep marching towards the target. Contact again, back to the tactical map. So you could intercept the raid 5-6 times.
So you're going back and forth based on what occurs
right.
while you're...
Any surviving bombers that make it to their target would attack, have anti-aircraft fire, and then try and make it back home.
So I'm going to ask you some questions coming now from our live audience, interested to see if it covers certain aspects or not. The Fango Wolf is asking, is there any element to island spotters having any impact to, finding anything as far as air in the game, enemy air movements?
Yeah, there would be Coast Watchers elements within the random events that might change what's happening, might change the composition of the Japanese raid, maybe there's nothing in the raid, maybe they were wrong, maybe it was a flight of birds they saw.
Okay, great. Okay, and then people are now going to start asking you, what's the extensibility of this concept? Can it get even broader? Maybe it's in this one or a future expansion, but here's an example. Paul's asking on YouTube, what about ships getting involved somehow in this?
I was not in this game here. This is going to deal just with the air war. But what I was thinking was if there could be a supplement to this, maybe something in a Paper Wars edition that would deal with.
I've heard of that.
it might deal with some anti-shipping missions with some SBDs and TBFs attacking them.
Yep, I think Paul, and you're going to see another comment from, and Fango Wolf mentioned something, then also from Justin Penwith. I'm going to show you here in a moment. He's got another related comment. I think they're trying to see how many layers could be possible to sort of skin on your design here, starting with the air-to-air, but I can see they're interested in wanting to model more, like can it extend out? So here's an example of that from Justin Penwith, who's joined us on YouTube. Could there be any possible tie-in to ground action, like close air support, I believe? It's like a close air support mission, I suppose.
No, not really. That would be a very minimal part where when the Japanese do attack down in the target areas that we listed in there, it could have some impact on what happens. Like if they bomb radar sites or the headquarters, it could impact the Americans intercepting the next raid that comes down, but nothing specific about ground troops.
Great. Oh, well, this is great because everybody see a common theme here. Interesting. So, or Michael's saying, okay, I'm already convinced. Yeah, he was in Brittany's poll. Okay, as long as it's World War II Pacific, I don't, any designer, I'm grabbing it. So Michael's an example of that poll.
That could be the blue hex talking though.
Yeah. Now tell us a little bit. This is an interesting question from Nolan. Started to get in your head a little bit. What any insights you can offer about the campaigns from a historical point, which would impact and influence your design of doing a game or a model. Is there anything historically you've taken from the books or anything along those lines into this?
Yeah, I tried to be very accurate with the squadrons and the aircraft that you can fly. I did cheat a little bit and brought some Corsairs in a little earlier than they actually appeared, just to kind of spice it up a little bit.
Okay.
But there'll be 3 different tours of duty you can do: early on, in the middle, and near the end. This was basically a 6-month campaign from August 42 to February 43.
Okay.
So there'll be 3 different 6-week campaigns within that time frame you could play. Or you could play all 3 back to back if you can make it.
There we go. And true to my claim, we've got some great questions from our live viewers. Darren out in Petaluma, California is wondering, is there bombing of Japanese transports involved? Or are you saying it's strictly this air-to-air engagement?
This is strictly the Japanese raids coming down, trying to bomb Henderson and the adjacent targets. This would be maybe a supplement afterwards, maybe an expansion pack.
Okay, and then please cover again the period covered for Fango Wolf.
The campaign took place from August 42 through February 43.
August 42 through February of 43. Steve is wondering on the hex scale you used, how did that work out at a tactical level? How did you arrive at? I think he's asking, how did you arrive at that scale that it worked for you?
I was just playing around with different speeds of the aircraft and how far I wanted them to move. I wanted to keep it as simple as I could, so it's more playable. I didn't want to get into an air war, the SPI game type situation.
Yeah, these days Air War would definitely still have its minority crowd, but it's not the easiest game to get into. I'd probably agree with that. Although I've seen people post they love the game that have learned it. So
I love the game too, but I want to make this a little more playable.
I got you. It makes sense. This might be a segue for you because we've got some other displays to show here in a moment. Bert's asking over on YouTube, how detailed are the planes and pilots in terms of your design treatment and mechanics?
The planes are going to be pretty basic. Fighters will have a different movement value for them. But the pilots, what I want to do is do the narrative type thing where you're going to develop a pilot. You're going to get skills. You might get some in flight school. You'll get experience points for the missions that you accomplish that you can build on those skills.
Oh, great.
And I've got some really good skill effects. Once you get to these skills, you're going to have some really good things you can do with them.
Would it be a fair, and this is not a criticism at all, this is actually, I think, a compliment. To me, this display, and talking about rewards and advancement, it sounds familiar to what I've seen in Gregory Smith's games, where he really focuses on the character and how you're building through experience and capabilities and building over time from campaign experience.
He was my main influence.
There we go. So, and I see it here. Do you want to mention briefly? I think you've already talked about the skills a little bit and things, and some skills at the bottom as well. You got 8 skills. Looks like you got 8 skills here. You've settled on for now. Any other comment? You've got ranks here. It looks like, and also the branch. That's interesting. You've got branch as well.
Yeah. Well, in the Navy, you're only flying for the Japanese Navy, but if you're going to play on the American side, you can fly for the Marine Corps, the Navy, or the Army. And then regarding the pilot display.
Yep.
So between missions, let's say you got to put it away for a while. You know how the chits can move around sometimes, or maybe a cat runs across your play zone, or the little kids get into it. I suggest take a picture of it before you put it away. Everyone's got a phone with a camera on it, right?
Great idea. Just snap a shot before the cat gets it, right?
Exactly.
Smart. And Dennis is asking here more about the planes, the different models covered in the game.
Yep. F4Fs and no P40s, but P39s.
Great. And then Jay here on YouTube said he's done some reading. So here's a book he's been reading. So on the same topic, pretty much. So very cool. Then Justin's asking a question here. Not close air support. I'm referring instead to the air action shift for control over the islands. So he's not talking about close air support for ground troops. But he's talking about the control of the islands themselves.
No, I don't want to get too much detail on that. I want to focus on just the air combat aspect and develop your pilot through the campaign.
All right. And then Paul also wanted to clarify his question about the ships. He was thinking more about pocket ships for spotting purposes.
There would be some random events that would affect your survivability if you had to bail out or ditch regarding submarines or PT boats not being available at the time. Maybe they're busy doing something else.
Yep. Gotcha. Mark, great questions. I tell you, we got a lot of questions for you. Everybody's really interested in this. Now, are you getting into historical aces or pilots in your design?
I thought about having some cards with specific aces from that battle or that campaign that would have skills built into them already, where you could play those. We'll see.
Okay, great. And Brian's asking, can you remind them again, how many different types of Japanese aircraft are you including in your design?
Okay, if you're playing on the Japanese side, you'll be in control of a Zero with 1 or 2 wingmen, and then your bombers will be Bettys and Vals.
All right, here, I just changed this over here in the display for everybody. So maybe you can explain a little bit what's going on here with the aircraft display for the Wildcat.
Sure. This is going to have your ammo boxes. It'll show your altitude at the time, and then all your damage boxes around the plane itself.
Gotcha. So just to track your plane, and it is one. Is it one plane? Can you remind me? Is it a single plane? You're the single pilot.
Yes, you'll be flying one plane. You'll have a wingman with you, and there'll be optional rules to maybe have another element of planes with you. So 4 total on the American side, and then up to 9 in the Japanese raid. Now I know the raids were larger than this, but This is just going to be your portion of it that you're tackling.
Yeah, as the pilot. Okay, and then
Right.
we answered already about the historical pilots, and Paul mentions here some names of pilots. What about I know we're not showing any counters right now. Are the counters flights or individual planes?
Individual planes.
Individual planes, great. Are you going to be able to secure a shot down and rescue shot down pilots in the game?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
awesome. Okay, great. Let's see here. Tom says it reminds him of Dawn Patrol a little bit. Mo says Marine Corps, of course, is the way to go. How does
Semper Fi, Mo.
I don't know if you're familiar with Philip Sabins. I'm not. I'm afraid I don't have it. He's got a game called Angels 1-5. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know if you are either.
I'm not either. No.
Okay,
Sorry.
so a little homework there. So that's all right. That's all right. David, thanks for being here. Great to have you on tonight. Random events. He's asking about what type of topics are you thinking right now? I know you can obviously add more and more random events, and that's not a problem at all. But here's a few questions.
Yeah, I want to have 2 decks of random events, one for each player. And I want to have like a lot of cards. I'm thinking like 50 to 70, because what you're going to do on the operations map is every turn you're going to pull a random event card. And I want to add a lot of flavor to the game with the random event cards. So like I said, it could be anything from mechanical failures to you had a new cook back at your base, and that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing.
A bad cook is a bad. That's funny. All right, that is true though. Okay, I get it. Yeah, this modeling reality, right? So you're modeling what happened actually. So I get it. Nolan here. Thanks for your service, Nolan. So he's a retired Marine aviation. So he's looking. Here's somebody that I'm sure could probably help with this project as far as random events go. So I do want to mention to everybody, we're in the early stages of this. This is the first time we're talking about this, bringing you into this game by Ray. So we're definitely going to have a call for contributors, for proofers, play testers, kicking the tires, you name it. So if any of you are interested in this topic, you're definitely going to get an opportunity to help contribute. We would love to have you contribute and work with Ray on this game design. So, Nolan, hopefully that could include you. Hopefully we can enlist you.
Or maybe even in the next idea I have.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Good to have you, Kevin. Thanks for joining. Yeah, cards in the game I think those are the random event cards you were talking about.
Yeah, random event cards, Japanese mission cards. There might be a few other things.
Brian says thumbs up on the food poisoning. He loves the idea. Rob says, what about an explosion in the cockpit? Oh, maybe that's a joke, because that would be bad news.
That could be part of it too. There was disease.
Yeah. There you go. No expected release date, Bird, on YouTube. We're just unveiling this new design that is in the design phase, early development phase, where we're going to need play testers. We're going to need to kick the tire. So this is very early on. We're not anywhere near even like a pre-order announcement yet. This is more about introducing to you a new game project by a new game designer, and hopefully we can get some interest in getting some volunteers down the road to help with this game. So I hope that makes sense, Bert. Thanks for being here tonight. And yeah, like Jay says, it's going to be on Kickstarter tomorrow. we wish, right?
That would be nice, but
don't worry about if your eyes were zoning out, because a number of boxes, because again, the artist is going to help Ray on the project, and the contributors we get look at the artwork as well. So that's obviously part of the overall project, is do the best we can as far as that goes. Play testing at Compass Convention. I don't know, Ray. I'm sorry, I didn't know if we even talked about if you're going to be at a game convention at all.
No, I live in California. They're hard to come by here. I don't know if I could make
California. They've got ones. Are you Northern Cal or Southern Cal?
Northern.
Okay, I'm from Ventura. I know Southern Cal has one or two, and I know Northern Cal's had a few conventions. So we are trying. Compass has been trying to get a Northern California convention going.
That'd be nice.
So that would be nice. I'd like to see that very much. And then you've definitely got interest, Nate, Gimpy Gamer says. How do you solitaire dogfight? Since it's a 2-player game, how would you solitaire it?
Well, like you solitaire other games that would usually require 2 players. You got to do the best you can on both sides.
All right.
Don't cheat now.
All right. Don't cheat. Do the best you can. Got it. Let's see here. Oh, Devil Boats has a dysentery roll. So there you go. There we go. And Jay's got the obligatory marketing thing. Mark says come to Pacificon in the Northern California area. That would be the way to go. So
I'll look into it.
Vicky wants to help play test. We'll definitely put out calls for play testers and everything. Pacificon getting a lot of big thumbs up here from everybody. Mo's not a fan of the dysentery roll because he says the game could end on the first die roll in a game. So there you go. Wine in game is a good way to go. So great comments, everybody. So let me show also, we got another display here. Why don't you share with everybody what this is about?
Yeah, I was thinking for the Betty bombers, why not put 3 on like an 11 by 17 aircraft mat instead of having them individual? Save a little space, put them in formation. So, and if you only have, say, 2 left, just ignore the third one.
There you go. That works for me. I like that idea. And then Tug mentions GMT was doing a Cactus Air Force game. I'm not familiar with it, unfortunately. I think I may have heard of it a while ago.
Yeah, I heard it was on P500 for a while.
Yeah, did it not stay on the P500? Is that what happened? Or is it still on the P500 maybe?
No, I think it fell off.
It fell off. Okay, yeah. So, well, the good news is at Kempis, we like doing multiple games on the same topic. So there you go. And then Mo says this actually happened to him. He's played a game where the first die roll ended the game. Geez, sounds like my life story sometimes. You know, things ending on the first turn. I get it. And Fango says he was there for I was there for 6 years. What's he referring to? 6 years. I don't know if that's Tri-Valley. Maybe he's talking about the Tri-Valley area. 6 years, but we'll have to find out. So I think this is everything to sort of show people, the basic concept of the game. You know what your idea is for the first one, but let's not disappoint. So I know people are already disappointed. We're not going to be on Kickstarter tomorrow, but the good news is we will put out a call for help. You know, we'll get a project site going. We'll get people involved. We're definitely going to do all of that. But what I thought we should do is let's take a glimpse. Let's go a little deeper here. Let's take a glimpse of some future designs you're thinking of doing. So why don't you walk us through in the next 2, 3, 4 minutes? Sure. Since you said you're not writing books anymore for a while, that means you have to design games. You have to design games. You have no choice.
So this one would be totally solitaire. And if there are any Vietnam vets out there that worked with helicopters, I'd love to hear your stories. Let's include them in the game.
We could probably do some research and help with something like that. Mo gives this one a thumbs up. Alrighty, so there's a future project you're working on, and I assume this is the map.
So this would be the operations map. Your base would be the one in blue. Your area of operations, the different numbers would be different targets. There'd be random events as you're going towards your mission. And then when you get to your final mission zone, it would go to a tactical map, maybe some 11 by 17s of geomorphic jungle terrain or something.
Yep.
And you'll have individual helicopters going towards your LZ or whatever your mission happens to be.
I like the sound of that. Because there could be more Vietnam air games for sure, tactical. What do we got here? I think somebody was just asking about this. So there you go, Mark.
I haven't seen any too many Gulf War games, so this would be very similar to the chopper pilot game. You would be maybe an F-117 pilot during Desert Storm. Same thing. You'd be based in either one of the 2 carriers that were operating in the area or somewhere in Saudi Arabia, solitaire only, flying towards your target, random events along the way. You get to a tactical map, dodging SAMs, bombing your target, hopefully not getting shot down, becoming a prisoner, or having to escape on foot.
Yep. Exactly. And then Steve says, how big are the raids? I think you're from an individual pilot plane standpoint.
Yeah, if you're going back to the first game, Cactus Air Force, you're flying individual aircraft. The raids on the Japanese side would be up to 6 Betty bombers and 3 Zeros escorting them. That would be the largest raid.
Fred chimes in here. Fred did a great job. He's been involved with the developer of NATO and doing air and armor, and also doing his own air and armor design work as well on future titles we're going to be doing. So Fred loves the idea of the map you're looking to do. So very cool. And Mo thinks you're unleashing the inner Greg Smith in yourself because you're talking about multiple titles. Hey, we just talked about 3 titles in like 3 minutes. I mean, that's like Gregory Smith speed here. We're talking. You have some kind of a velocity rating that's tracking like Gregory Smith. Is all I got to say there. Nolan says chopper pilot. Hell yeah. He's not Vietnam, but just post-Nam, 20 years in Marines. So he's been in post-year Marines, Halo. So maybe he can help.
He could help. Yes, definitely.
Well. He's probably had some contacts as well. Add the A6 Wild Weasels to Desert Storm, Fanglewolf says. Glenn Ashton, he's been around a long time. He wants 1914 pilots. So there you go. And besides these games, what else you got? Don't be a slacker. So yeah, these are just, so again, we're just,
many more ideas.
This is just an early preview. Like, okay, I know you're going to get the Gregory Smith treatment now, Ray, where they're going to have all these ideas for other titles for you.
How about Route Pack 6? Flying Tigers.
Flying Tigers. There you go. That works. So yeah, sounds like you're not going to be writing books for a while.
No,
I would say.
Working on games now.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, just so everybody knows, what we'll do is I'll be working with Ray to get the project site started where he can start uploading his designer draft documents. And then we're going to probably put out a call for volunteers to look at the game system. We'll set it up. We'll try to set it up like on a Vassal or something as soon as we can for play purposes. But yeah, anybody interested, there will be a call for help that I will put out. I put one out earlier this week for play testers, which was answered greatly for Desert General. So appreciate everybody who answered the call for that. We'll do the same thing for Ray here for his, again, we're talking again about the first game we discussed this evening because we covered so many different ones, but here you go. It was for the Cactus Combat Pilot series, covering different eras, genres, but we're starting with Cactus Air Force 42. So that's where we're going to start. Now, is there anything, and again, we're going to meet again. So Ray, we're going to have an opportunity to do another interview with you where we have finished artwork when the project is much further along. So we can talk much deeper about the game as we go through all the mechanics and the components. But is there anything that we should have covered tonight that I didn't maybe have a chance to cover with you yet, as far as just this first brief introduction to you and the various designs you're going to be working on?
Well, I think we got through more than I thought we would.
Awesome.
I appreciate the time, John.
Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate having you tonight. And we will have you back again, and we'll be talking soon to get you set up to get the project going. So thanks so much, Ray, for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. That was great to have Ray on. So what I need to do is one more thing that I need to set up for everybody. So we've also got some news on a special exception we're making tonight. And that is we are going to go ahead and do a pre-order game announcement. If you were on the recent town hall with Bill Thomas, we're really targeting getting all pre-orders out at the same time as far as what we need to do to support the catalog for this year. So I think I have a list. I'm looking at my whiteboard here on my desk. I've got 13 or 14 game titles I'm going to be working on as far as adding pre-orders to our Compass website because they're going to be in the catalog. So I just want to make you aware of that. But what we're going to do is I do want to announce effective now is we're making an exception to that rule because we've actually already done an interview actually on the game that we're going to be announcing for pre-order. And that is we did on Friday, March 11th, we had an interview with Joe Fernandez on Storm of Steel. Storm of Steel is a solitaire game, and we mentioned, we were going to try to get this game out on pre-order as quickly as we could. We had some delays, but we don't want to delay it any further. So with that being said, let me go ahead and pull up here and present it to you all now. So let me just copy it out here where you can see it so we can properly introduce it. So here we go. So I'll make this screen a little bit smaller. It's way too big. So we now have, and just to let you know how this is working, we're just doing pay laters for now. So we're not going to do pay now on something that isn't going to be shipping for a while. So we don't want people paying now and then the money's, you've given us the money and then you're getting impatient for us. Bill Thomas covered all this ground already in our last town hall, and he'll surely cover it again. But we're making a shift for all these new pre-orders that we're going to be announcing. And like I said, there's 13 or 14 of them that are going to be coming. And then there's this one as well. So this is the first one out of the batch. We're just going to do pay laters for now because this is not going to be coming, anytime soon, not right away, not this calendar year. It's going to be coming, next year, sometime next year, and it will be in our catalog. So again, this is available now for pay later. I definitely check out this interview. So if you go to our YouTube channel for Compass Games Live, it's episode 73. And I think it's around the 32, 34-minute mark. It's after the interview I did with Mr. Van Burden on Barbarians at the Gates. And so we have a good 20 minutes of content on Storm of Steel with the designer Joe Fernandez. Really good interview. But here, as you can see, I've got some components here. So again, all the components are done, basically. So here's the cover for the game. Here's the back. Here's the back of the cover, which always is very important. And yes, you can zoom in for more detail. so you can really get a better idea of what the game's about. So you can definitely zoom in. This is all from our website. That's not a problem at all to zoom in. I've also added the full-size 22 by 34 display because, again, you're a Staffel leader. It's not just a single airplane and a single pilot. You're handling a squadron of Stukas on the Eastern Front. So because of that, you need to manage multiple flight crews and multiple aircraft and dealing with the damage and maintenance of the aircraft. So this is why we have a full-size map that's acting as this big operations display. So that's available for you to look at as well. You can zoom in for a little more detail on it. Also, what I've provided here is it's 1.5 counter sheets. So one full counter sheet. Here's the front side of it. And again, it's in the video we did earlier. And then there's going to be a half counter sheet with some of the historical pilots. So again, all this is available right now, as of now, on the Compass website. Again, it's only a pay later. It's not going to show up under the pay now pre-orders. It's just going to show up on the pre-orders for pay later, because that's the one option we have for now. And then we'll change that. Once the catalog gets out, we'll then make pay now available. But again, if you read through the description, it gives you a nice overview. It starts from Operation Barbarossa because it's Eastern Front. So it starts obviously June 22nd, takes you all the way through the Kursk offensive during summer of 1943. And then you'll get some nice details here in the description. Again, the interview is really where I would definitely recommend, if you're really interested in this game, definitely check out that interview that I mentioned, because you're going to get a lot more information in the interview. And what I'll try to do is I'll add a YouTube video clip to this product page. I will take you right to the segment where the designer is talking, where I introduce him, so you don't have to search and seek that segment out. So I'll add a YouTube clip here to this pre-order page, so it will take you straight to the interview. So that will be coming soon. But again, this will give you a good details. And then the game features, I'll make this a little bit bigger on screen so you can see it a little bit better. So here again are some of the game features included. It's solitaire, historical units and missions, individual pilots and gunner careers with dozens of Stuka crew counters involved. Campaign spans Barbarossa, Case Blue, Kursk, so on and on. Gives you all the information you need, all the components as well. So again, we're just really pleased. We're excited about this release from Joe Fernandez. Also going to be nice to see how you're handling the whole Staffel of multiple aircraft on the Eastern Front for missions. So a different perspective than just a single pilot. You will have a single pilot to manage, but actually we're now enlarging that to a full Staffel. So again, I hope you guys will be interested in this game for sure. Thanks, Jay, for picking it up on pay later. That's the way to get it. Absolutely, that's the way to get it. Also, hat tip to Bruce Urian. Bruce Urian did all the artwork for the game, and he did really a great job. Joe Fernandez was also very happy with the work he did. So a hat tip to Bruce Urian for all the artwork he did. And again, you'll see some more of it, I think, in that YouTube video. We showed more components during the YouTube interview that we did. So thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, Bruce is right here. Bruce, thank you so much for all your great work on it. Really appreciate it. And again, this is going to be one of many new pre-orders coming. So yes, we're going to have this quiet period before all hell breaks loose, literally, because we're going to have I'm going to have to do an espresso Red Bull infused evening with you guys, because I'm going to be announcing, I guess, 12 or 13 pre-order games at some point in the near future to support our catalog. So Bruce, kudos to you for supporting the project. And again, please check it out on our website. Please look for Storm of Steel. Check out the components. I'll add the video soon to make it easier for you to find the interview with Joe Fernandez, the designer. And we're really excited about this one for sure. So, and again, I want to thank Ray for being on earlier with us today, so we could talk about his new design that's just beginning, Cactus Air Force. So looking forward to working with Ray Fiore on that further. And just a reminder for everybody, Compass Games Expo is going to be coming in November. We talked briefly about it tonight. So from our website, you can sign up for Compass Games Expo. It's in November over Veterans Day weekend. We hope you can make it. We'll have quite a few designers available as well, and some seminars and things of that sort as well. So we're really looking forward to that. And just to let you know, next Thursday, we will be back for another town hall session with Bill and Billy Thomas. So I'm excited about next Thursday joining you for that. And again, there might be some updates in terms of restock items becoming available again. So that's something I'm looking forward to covering as well. So I hope I got to everybody's comments okay tonight. I apologize if I missed any comments. Thank you so much for the great job you did to help support Brittany with those 2 poll questions tonight. You guys did a fantastic job on that. And again, I look forward to seeing you in a week from tonight, next Thursday, for our next town hall session. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great night. And again, I know we had somebody here who's not feeling well with the flu. I hope you feel better soon. I think it was Nick. So Nick, I hope you feel better soon. Please let us know how you're doing. We want you to get well soon. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next Thursday. Take care and bye-bye.